So with almost 9 months of sunny days here in Grand Junction, Colorado, buying a home with leased solar panels is a great idea, right? Well, maybe. Buying a home with leased solar panels can certainly add a level of complications and even some pitfalls, but by the end of this video, you're going to know exactly what to watch out for, the process of buying a home with leased solar panels, and whether or not it's a good idea to go ahead and move forward on that home purchase. We're going to get after it right after this, so stay tuned. What's going on, everybody? I'm Robert Hayes, and along with my wife Christie, we are the Hayes Home Group right here in Grand Junction, Colorado. And if you're brand spanking new to this channel and you want to know everything about working, living, playing, eating, sleeping right here in Grand Junction, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Tap that little bell, that way you're notified every time we post a new video. And we are helping so many people from all over the country relocate here to Grand Junction, and we absolutely love it. So if you're even thinking about moving here to Grand Junction, you gotta reach out. Give us a phone call, shoot us a text, send us an email, even send the carrier pigeon. Whatever you need to do, we've got your back when moving to Grand Junction. Okay, so before we jump into this, I want to make sure we are perfectly clear. We are not against you taking advantage of renewable energy and saving on those utility bills and getting solar power. With 250, 260 days per year, sunny days here in Grand Junction, we are perfectly situated to take advantage of solar power. We just want to make sure that you're informed and we can provide valuable information on what's involved in pursuing a home purchase on that dream home that has leased solar panels. And the focus of today's video is specifically talking about solar panels that are leased. Now, there are very few, but there are on occasion solar panels on a property that you're looking to purchase where it's an outright purchase from the homeowner. So there is no lease. And in fact, if a solar panel is outright purchased and the owner of the home owns those solar panels, that actually can add value to the property, similar to doing a $20,000 remodel on your kitchen. I mean, you're never going to get dollar for dollar on any improvements that you make to your home, but if it's an outright purchase, that actually can be advantageous, but you still want to do your due diligence. But the vast majority of solar panels here in the Grand Valley are going to be those leased solar panels, just because the cost of putting in a solar panel system that's outright purchased is quite expensive. So again, our focus here is leased solar panels. So the tips that we're going to give you apply to the two basic lease agreements when it comes to solar panels. The first one is called a PPA, or a power purchase agreement, where you're essentially buying power from the solar company, like a SunPower or a Tesla, and you're going to basically not have any of the tax advantages or financial incentives. That's going to belong to the solar power company. The other is just a regular old lease, where you're basically paying a monthly installment to the solar company, and you're getting those benefits and those savings from the energy company, called net metering. So basically, if you have more power or generate more power that you need on a monthly basis, then the utility company will save that up for future use. But again, the tips we're going to provide apply to both of these. All right, tip number one, understand that you're going to be taking over that solar lease agreement, and you're going to have to qualify to do so. Now, odds are, if you've already qualified for a home mortgage and you can buy a home, you should have no issues qualifying for the taking over the lease agreement. However, in the past, we've had an instance where, let's just say you had a 640 credit score, which is good in today's world for qualifying for a home mortgage. The solar company required a 680 credit score to take over that solar lease, and so the entire deal fell apart. So again, understand you're going to have to qualify for that solar lease. You're going to have ample time through the timelines within the contract to make sure to get that done. But again, understand you're going to have to qualify and take over that lease. Tip number two, review all of the solar system documents. I'm going to say it again. Review all of the solar system documents and then review them again after that. It's super important. The solar system documents are going to include the following: the most recent version of the system, lease, or loan. any other solar system documents in the seller's possession, and the name and phone number of the lessor. Again, for instance, Tesla or SunPower, something along those lines. So again, as soon as you receive these documents, read them carefully. Even though they're boring, even though they're filled with a bunch of legal mumbo jumbo, read them carefully. As you're going through these documents, make note of anything in those documents that you are unsure of, that doesn't make sense, that you have questions on, because ultimately you're the one that's going to decide whether or not this lease agreement is worth it to move forward and purchase this home. As you're reading through these documents and you have specific questions or concerns, we would encourage you to reach out to the lessor, the solar power company, and have them answer and address any specific questions and concerns that you have. As realtors, we're certainly not qualified to answer those specific solar questions on your behalf, but we can maybe even put you in touch with a local solar company representative that might be able to help out and address some of those concerns. And if you're still not satisfied, maybe even hire an attorney just to at least review the documents so that you know exactly how they read and what they mean, so you feel comfortable moving forward. Regardless of who it is that you're reaching out to, you need to get super comfortable with these lease documents so that you know exactly what you're getting into. Okay, tip number 3, request electricity bills, right? So that way you understand exactly what your savings is going to look like. So make sure that you request and receive all copies of electricity bills. It's also super valuable to know a little bit about the seller who's providing copies of these electricity bills. So if it's a family of 5 and they're not snowbirds and they're always home, then obviously that's going to give you a better picture of what the savings is going to actually wind up being throughout the year versus, maybe a single person who's never there 6 months out of the year. That's probably not going to give you a clear picture of what your savings could look like if you're a family of 5. So again, request all electricity bills, review them, take a look at the savings, and that way you can determine if this move is the right move for you. Okay, last but not least, tip number 4, which really could have been tip number 1, research, research, research. When you're looking to purchase a home that has leased solar panels, make sure that you do your due diligence and don't leave any stone unturned. When it comes to qualifying for the lease agreement, make sure that you do that early. Contact the lessor as soon as possible and understand if there's going to be any hiccups along that path. Also, make sure that you review every single page of that solar lease agreement so that you understand exactly what it is that you're getting into. Can you afford the payment? Will that payment affect your loan qualifying? Because again, you're having a new lease payment that's going to be tacked on from the lender's perspective as a new monthly debt. So you could be qualified for a $300,000 home. You throw in that monthly lease agreement, and now the lender says you're only qualified for a home at $290,000. So make sure you take that into account as well. And again, any questions about anything in the solar lease agreement when it comes to the terms of the lease agreement and the servicing of the solar lease panels, whatever it might be, reach out, make phone calls. Again, we can certainly as agents point you in the right direction and put you in touch with those that are going to have those answers for you, but make sure you do your research. That's the most important tip of all. Here are some of the things that you want to do your research on. The insurability of the solar lease system, the age of the leased solar system, the maintenance requirements and recommendations of the solar leased agreement in the unit, the maintenance of the system up to date. When's the last time it was serviced? And again, the monthly fees, make sure that that fits within your monthly budget that you've accounted for. Are there any transfer fees? The grid tie-in, the lease terms, the output production guarantees, if there are any tax implications, either for or against. Usually it's probably going to be for. And then any warranties, what's the warranty, what's the longevity of that, and how is that applicable to the system that you're leasing? So if you do your due diligence and do your research and review all of those points in the lease agreement, you actually can have a lot of success and save a few bucks with renewable energy and having solar power under a leased solar system. But again, if you're brand new to this channel and you want to know everything about working, living, playing solar systems here in the Grand Junction area, make sure you hit that subscribe button, tap that little bell, that way you're notified every time we post a new video. And if you're even thinking about moving here to Grand Junction, you got to reach out. Give us a phone call, shoot us a text, send us an email, even send the carrier pigeon. Whatever you need to do, we've got your back when moving to Grand Junction. Until the next video, we'll catch you later.